Probably. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
This is quite an amazing experience because we think the biggest commercial consumer healthcare conference in the past few years. Obviously, the association, CHIPA, has a much bigger meeting, but we're very pleased that we have so many fine speakers and delegates and guests and network partners here today. Now, it's very important for me personally to stress the family aspects of our industry and our company. Now, they're very shy and they won't want to stand up, but we're a 3-generation company, Nicholas Hall & Company. My son and my granddaughter work in the company. We're rather proud of that. So that's something we're proud of. We're also proud of the fact that we act as a family, as well as a centre of excellence in the consumer healthcare market. And what we do in our other conferences, we encourage everybody to get to know each other. So, first of all, can I ask you to stand up? Then, would you very kindly greet the people either side, behind you and in front of you, and get to know each other? So thank you, everybody, and that's the tone that we want to adopt throughout this meeting. We want it to be friendly, informal, we want to exchange ideas, we want to learn, we want to give, we want to share. And by tomorrow evening, I think we'll be more knowledgeable because we've shared. Now, this conference is called the first Nicholas Hall North America Conference in partnership with Everything Health, and that's actually not true. Because our company and our partners at Everything Health have had many meetings in the past. For example, nine years ago in 2008, Joe McGovern and a number of other people here and ourselves held a Switch conference. So why did we call this the first conference? It's because I think we're moving into a new age of consumer healthcare. I think the model doesn't work, and we'll see that when we look at the figures. We need new marketing models that widen the categories, that widen the channels of distribution, and which enable us to have higher growth than we currently get globally, and particularly in the United States. So the keynote address today is going to take two forms. The first is what I call news. What's happening in the industry? What's the recent trend? What's the data? And then we're going to have the alternative news. Very interestingly, when we as a company have been in the news business for 40 years, it's an important part of what we do. And many of you in this room take our OTC news flash every Friday. Several of you, old friends that I'm seeing for the first time in some years, are saying how they enjoy reading that on Friday. When we started OTC Newsflash 15 years ago, the question we had internally was, is there enough news for a weekly news flash? And it's astonishing, there is so much news. There is so much that's happening that it's hard to keep up. So for example, when I woke up this morning and I looked at the usual news feeds, it's fascinating. For example, in the news today, Nestle, which is a new entrant into consumer health through Nestle Health Sciences and through its ownership of Galderma, Nestle Skin Science, is an important new entrant into our market. Nestle shares given a huge boost because of an active shareholder. Daniel Loeb has become an active investor and is doing what other active investors have done in companies like Valeant, and Procter & Gamble, and Unilever and the like. So a little bit of a shake-up there. On the other hand, the planned acquisition in Europe of the Stada company, which is a top 20 player in OTC, has collapsed. The final offer from Bain Capital and Cinven failed to get the 67.5% pledges by shareholders. So that's off. We also read today, and it's very important in the context of e-commerce, that Google has just been fined over $2 billion in Europe for unfairly promoting its own online shops against competitors. So every day, a lot of news that's changing and distorting and in some respects we hope improving the consumer healthcare market. So let's go into the news. So this is what's happening, and then we'll look at the alternatives, which I think is the really interesting piece. So can we take the next slide, please? And the next slide. So here is the news. So, well, I'm only going to say a very little about global because this is a meeting focused primarily on the domestic market. So in US dollars, the market is growing at about 4.5% over time. We've had peak years like 2015, where the three big drivers of consumer healthcare globally all kicked in. That's good growth in the emerging markets, some mid-sized switches, and a great cough cold season. They're the three main drivers of our industry, and we had all three in 2015. Now, off in 2016, coming back a little bit in 2017. We have the first quarter figures, and it's 4.7%. Again, those of you who've attended workshops and seminars where I've moderated will know that we compare that against the total economy. What is the total economy growing at? Latest estimate, 3.5% from International Monetary Fund, proves that internationally consumers will always find a little bit of extra money to spend on consumer healthcare. Next slide, please. So let's take a look at where the countries figure in. US, unfortunately, towards the bottom of this leaderboard, showing 2.5% growth in the 12 months that ended in March 2017 compared with the year before. Now, we've seen the US up there at 3, 4, 5% in the past, and that's slowing down. The bars in red are the emerging markets continuing to do well. The green is the so-called developed world, with markets like Poland and Spain and Canada doing quite well. So now let's focus much more on the US. So can we take the next slide, please? So here's the 5-year data set. This is, by the way, from our database DB6 at factory dollars, constant currencies, and here we only look at the retail market. We don't look at this stage, although we hope it will come. We're not looking at e-commerce, we're not looking at multi-level. So we see that there's been an up and down. It's a bit of a spiky shape to the growth curve, 2% in 2012, almost 4% in 2013, 3% 2014, great year in 2015 when we had the real impact of the intranasal sprays coming into the market, and then down to 2.3%. 2.3%, it really should be a baseline for us because it's effectively the population growth plus inflation. Put that together, that's a higher number than the growth in the market. So the market is actually slightly underperforming the key metrics. So the key message from this is that the model isn't working. Now, is it not working just for 1 or 2 years, or is it beginning to show as non-performing over time? That's the proposition that we want to address in the next 2 days. We want to look at the reality, we want to look at the future, and at the end, I'll try to do the impossible, as I always do at the end of a conference. I try to sum up all the many things that have been said in 2 days.